Hello everybody, it's Tommy and welcome back to another speed build. Today we are going to be working on the very final speed build for Evergreen Harbor. And I almost just said the name of the next world that we are going to be moving to, which I am really happy to announce, is going to be Forgotten Hollow. And that was chosen by patrons. I did run a bunch of polls, basically letting everybody decide what they wanted to see as far as patrons go, and they picked Forgotten Hollow. I could not be more excited to start there. It obviously fits really well into the time of year for where I live in the US, so we're gonna get some fall vibes going. We are gonna do a spooky, villains, all sorts of stuff themed world. I have lots of ideas and things that I want to do for that world. I just got done doing like a brainstorming session with a bunch of my patrons talking about what they would like to see and what we're going to do with that world, and I'm just really excited. I will talk about it more in future videos. I do want to focus today on our final speed build of Evergreen Harbor. I don't want to take away from this build too much because I actually really like how this came out. I think this is one of my favorite lots in Evergreen Harbor, surprisingly, even though I think a lot of you expressed to me that you didn't really think I would include Al in the Disney save. I'm glad that I did, because now we have Al's Toy Barn, which is really the thing that I was most excited to create, and he will own it as his own little business, and I just absolutely love how it turned out. So essentially, this is a recreation from Toy Story 2. It will be owned by Al, and you can come here and get basically any type of children's toy or item. I was very specific on just like mostly toys, but there are a couple of miscellaneous things here that you could also come and get. It is a little repetitive as far as like what can I get here. Like a lot of the shelves are stocked with toys that are all the same color, and then maybe you'll have like a couple variations, but it's a lot of stuffed animals, a lot of dolls, a lot of playthings for children, as would be like appropriate from the movie. So in Toy Story 2, Al's Toy Barn is obviously a toy store, and they would sell all sorts of stuff you see, like Barbie, bikes, Buzz Lightyear. There's actually some hidden like little other Pixar toys in the background of some of the movie too. When I was rewatching for the creation of this, I did see like some Bugs Life toys, and I think Bugs Life really gets like kind of skipped, even for me. I haven't even really thought about Bugs Life too much for the Disney save, but obviously given the restrictions of me trying to create a CC free version of the Disney save, we are going to use in-game items. However, I did try to recreate certain aspects of Al's Toy Barn and certain things as little shout-outs from the movie and from the scenes where Buzz and the gang are in Al's Toy Barn, trying to look for Woody, trying to look for Al. There's a couple of scenes in there with some Barbie dolls, and there's one where Buzz has a little face-off with another Buzz Lightyear, and there's like a display case. So I tried to bring in little stuff like that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we go to the interior. For the exterior, the entire thing is shaped like a barn, so even though that might in itself, like the shape of it might feel a little bit out of place for Evergreen Harbor and could fit well into possibly like a future farming type of world, we will get a lot of farm and barn builds if that world ever comes. And who even knows, honestly, with The Sims sometimes. I know farming is one of those big packs that everybody wants to see, and I know many of us are hoping for like a really cool country themed type of world, beautiful farmlands to be able to build on for that, but we don't know if that's ever going to come. And I think that this is a fun thing to have outside of that anyway, because even in the movie, this is shown being in more of like a little city area. So it makes a lot of sense that it's here, even though the shape of the building is a little out of place for just what we would think generally. We would think a farm. So it is a little bit out of place, but that's what makes it kind of unique. And we are on the edge of a residential as well. This lot was very tricky for me to pick, but I do like the way that it came out, and I like the way that it's placed here because it's facing the main road, so it's not crazy to think that this would be on a lot like this, especially from where I am in the US. We have a lot of neighborhoods that are mixes of residential, and then on the corner you will get like a different type of store, whether that be a small retail or a gas station or something to that regard, so it's not totally out of the box. Now in the movie, Al's Toy Barn is shown being in this giant, like, L-shaped corner lot. And behind it, you have a huge backdrop that's painted onto another building, probably a building that is directly behind it and next to it. And they've painted like this whole little mural of a farm with cows and lots of haystacks and all that kind of stuff. So originally what I tried here, and I'm not even sure if this would have worked, but in one of the packs, I believe it's Get Famous, we got this big green screen item and it literally will display like an image, a moving image constantly, and it's for filming purposes. So I did originally try to put that here and maybe put it behind, and I wasn't even sure if there was like a farm type of scene to put in the background, but I did want to try it. However, it was just way too big for the lot, so it didn't end up working out. But I did decide to create sort of like a shell of a brick backdrop for behind the building. And then I put one of those giant stickers, I believe also from Get Famous, over the back of it to kind of symbolize this same idea. And I think it really works. I think it's cool. And again, it gives that same sort of essence of this building looks like it doesn't belong here, but they've like done all this decor to really try and make it feel like it does. So that's basically the exterior. Super, super simple, and really fun, colorful. It looks really cool from the overhead view map. I did have to turn it just so that it's facing like the proper way, but when you see it on the overhead view, it is really interesting compared to everything else in Evergreen Harbor. So a lot of you had questions in my last video about a world overview video for Evergreen Harbor, and yes, I will be making one. So for Willow Creek, I, at the end of doing all of the lots, created like a world overview where we just went through and toured everything really quickly, talked about some of the characters, and so you could really just see the whole thing all done at once. And I do plan to do that again this time around, but I have a little bit of a stipulation. Last time I did it, I wasn't actually completely finished with playtesting Willow Creek. So this time around, I would like to wait at least that long. I want to finish Evergreen Harbor, make sure all of the townies are all set, everything is all set, so that I can also talk a little bit about changes that I made to Evergreen Harbor, because whenever I do a speed build or create a sim and I talk about what I've done in that particular video, I almost always have little things that get added or changed that a lot of my casual viewers will never know about until maybe you download the save, which for a lot of you could be like a really long time from now. So I would really like to take an opportunity to talk about anything cool, new that I've implemented, or things that had to be changed or fixed because I tried to do something that was like maybe not possible for the game in that regard. So it will be coming, but it will be in a little bit, and we might even have to start Forgotten Hollow before I get to that point. So I will keep you guys updated on when that video is going to come. I know a lot of you are really excited to see it, and it definitely will come. Just give me maybe a few weeks to get that out and get that all taken care of while we test Evergreen Harbor and work out all of the bugs and stuff there. Moving on to the interior of Al's Toy Barn, we actually had a lot of really great shots for the inside of the toy barn. A lot of it was very themed, obviously going with the exterior decor with all of the barn. There were chickens everywhere, there were pigs, there were cows. I even looked for, in the debug, I was looking for a shopping cart because the shopping carts all have like little cows on them, and I was going to do something with that. We actually don't have a cart item. I cannot believe that. Just like a shopping cart, that would have been amazing. I would have loved to have put those like all on the outside here, but yeah, we didn't have that item. So I did try to theme it as much as I can. I wanted the checkout area to be super themed, have the little barns, have some chickens, and then it was all just about making sure that I'm actually sticking to what I'm seeing in the movie. So Al's Toy Barn in the movie is definitely a lot larger than this lot, but retail lots can be sort of repetitive, and I didn't feel like it was necessary to make sure that it was just this super huge market, because you're going to want to come in here and probably grab a few items and leave. So it doesn't have to be this massive lot with me placing like hundreds of thousands of items on shelves. I think that doing it in a smaller condensed form is going to work and flow a lot better. So there was a pretty big cut there just now, and that was basically me taking 10 million hours to put stuff on shelves, which was just a total nightmare, and I did not want to film at all, but I had to make sure everything was lined up straight, looked great, and it all was items that are super appropriate for a children's toy store. So all of that footage got cut, but we do have 4 or 5 aisles of toys and children's related products that I think that you guys would enjoy. I do want to tell you guys that I am going to create a CC version of Al's Toy Barn and replace all of the stuff on the shelves with Pixar toys. Or I guess in general, just Disney related toys. It kind of just depends on what CC I find. I will make that as a separate version with separate CC that you have to download for the custom content version of the Disney save, and obviously I always like to do the regular version, so that is what you were seeing in today's video, but I will let you guys know when that version is available. I'm not going to put a date on that just yet either, but I did decide that that would be a really cool thing to do, that you could like bring your characters here and get Disney related toys for all of your characters. I just thought that that would be something fun and a little bit different, and more of like a shout out to the movie as well, because they sell Disney toys at Al's Toy Barn, so I thought that that would be fun. But for this version, we are just going to do like the regular in-game toys. Two ideas that I really wanted to bring to this build. There are a few scenes where the toys run into a Barbie, and there's a tour guide Barbie, and she brings them around the different toys in Al's Toy Barn, and I wanted to recreate the scene where they have all of the Barbies like in the dollhouse and the pool and the car and all of that. So I thought it would be cool to maybe set up like a little display area where they have the new Barbie stuff out and ready to go. Obviously it's not Barbie technically, but I feel like this one dollhouse is very reminiscent of something that you might have seen in a Barbie section or a setup for her. So we have this little area that's meant to just be basically be like one of those areas in the toy store that's just set up so that you can get a full view of what you would be purchasing, and maybe it's a more expensive item like a dollhouse, where those Barbie dollhouses, oh my god, they are so expensive. I never had one as a kid growing up. I always had like generics because they were just way too much money, but I thought that that would be like a cool section. You could obviously change that out, like that would be something that would be changed out pretty regularly for a toy store. And then another scene that I really like, and I think should have been represented in the build, we have the scene where Buzz tries to climb into the Buzz Lightyear display because he wants to get the new belt, and he ends up fighting another Buzz Lightyear that doesn't understand that he's a toy and getting locked in like one of the boxes. So I thought it would be cool to set up some kind of a similar display where a Buzz Lightyear might go. And again, for the CC version, we might actually replace the toy inside this display with a real Buzz Lightyear. But in the movie, it's shown as like this huge tube, and it's got a lot of decor that I knew right away I was not going to be able to replicate very well. But the idea of setting up the little space display and having some kind of a significant type of toy that maybe resembles Buzz Lightyear in the display was probably good enough for me in this instance. And in this case, the only toy I could really find that I felt like would be appropriate is the superhero toy, so that's the one that we're actually going to put in there. But I surrounded the area with some different space related posters and signs, of course letting you know that that is something that is for sale. It does sort of block off the area in the corner, and I think it will make that register unusable. I haven't actually checked yet, but I think it is important to note that when you own a retail, it doesn't really use multiple registers anyway. You can check people out a few different ways, and I think your employees can cash people out a few different ways, but you really only need one register for it to function. So as long as the one in the middle was completely clear and you could do like a line through the middle there, I thought that that would be totally fine. But I totally recognize that this place might be a little bit crammed sometimes. And I think that's kind of cool. It adds to the charm. It feels like a small, like, toy store, and it would be a little bit crammed in that type of an instance. So I do have to play test it a little bit. I have to just make sure that we've got everything working here, but I was really happy with the result and how everything came out. And then the other thing I wanted to do was Al's office and, of course, a bathroom. Funny enough, retail lots actually don't require a bathroom, but I find that the sim that owns the place probably appreciates having a bathroom on the lot. So I did do like a really small one and nothing extra on top of that. So don't worry about the bathrooms. I don't even know if I've shown the footage, but you do get some shots from the movie in Al's office when the toys are in there. They're actually like hiding in the background while Al is on a phone call. And I wanted to make sure that that was in there as well. So we did like this crummy, darkly lit, not so nice office that I could totally imagine Al having, because of course he probably just doesn't care about his office very much. Like, he's not going to super decorate it anything spectacular. So a lot of random clutter and boxes and newspaper, and it's really just for show. Again, I feel like for retails and like business ownership in The Sims, that might be something that they really should update and add, is just like more intricacy with being able to plan stuff for your business and being required to work certain amounts of times to do a lot of paperwork for your business, because that's obviously something that's super realistic but isn't really depicted in The Sims. So I like to depict it anyways, and he actually does have another office at home, which again, if you own a business, that's definitely something that can be the case. You need to have like lots of office space to work from multiple locations. Again, if we do, or when I do, the CC version of Val's Toy Barn, there were a couple of toys in there that were shown that I would like to be able to find versions of to put in here. I don't want to make you guys have to download too much custom content, even if you're going to do the CC version of the save. I'm trying to really keep it limited, so I'm not going to go crazy, but there's one like wrestling game, and there's some scenes in there. What is the wrestling game where you can be the two different colored robots and they just like punch each other to like knock the heads off? You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I do not know what that game is called. Again, another toy that I just didn't have growing up. But they had that in the office in the movie, and I would love to be able to find one of those to maybe add in, or some of the other stuff that they show in the background. And that is actually going to be the end of today's speed build. I really hope you guys enjoyed Evergreen Harbor overall. Let me know in the comment section down below which speed build or family was your favorite of Evergreen Harbor, and stay tuned over the next few weeks for Townies videos, the world overview, and then we will be starting Forgotten Hollow. And make sure you guys leave me recommendations for what you would like to see in Forgotten Hollow down below, and I will definitely go through and see what I can do. That is all I have for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Hit that little bell icon below to turn on post notifications so you can get updated every single time I post, and I will talk to you all in the next one.